hii kasi kidogo, just give us buses, tupeleke huko, 20 buses and we will do it. Of course, he was joking, because and I was telling the minister this morning, these insects are in millions. One swarm can have 40 million insects. So when you hear of 7, 40, 8, 10 swarms, there are a lot of insects, and surely you cannot finish these insects by eating them. So give us a chance, give us a chance to control them, and more importantly, do not eat those insects after they are sprayed. If you want to catch them, and I know there are communities who are very fond of them, no names mentioned here, those communities, please do not eat them after they are sprayed. It's a biological control also. Thank you.
To me?
To Waziri.
You are finished technical questions? Very well.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I largely really would want you to help us deal with the disinformation and the panic that is being generated, and largely because of lack of knowledge and information on what is happening. So if you can help us, we'll be very happy, because we can see also people taking pictures of grasshoppers and sending them and saying now locusts are here. You know, I mean, if they are in swarms, you can't have a few insects on one tree and say these are locusts, unless they have been already demobilized and sprayed, and therefore they are dying, and a few of them are remaining there. So I think continuing helping us make people not to panic, farmers to continue with their farming activities as the government deals with the problem will really help the country settle down. Tuwezi kuambia Wakenya wasipige picha. Kenyans are very robust, and they are also very active. So, but we are telling you that scientific responses to the problem is being enhanced to deal with the situation.
So but be confirming what insects they are. You know, you ask Kenyans to take pictures so that you confirm if they are truly locusts.
We have counted teams on the ground who can help us and who are helping. They are trained to help in you know, providing the information.
Kenya stop taking pictures.
No. We can't control. We can't control what Kenyans want to do. I received one just a little while from a place in Tigania West of one insect, and I'm being asked what it is. I'm sure it's not a locust, because it will not be alone one insect on a tree. Somebody has sent it. So yes.
Kutokana na ripoti ya jana ya rais na mabadiliko ambayo alifanya, kuna fedha ambazo zilitolewa kwa miradi kadhaa, hasa mradi wa maziwa, mradi wa chai, kuna milioni 575 ambazo zilitolewa. Swali langu ni je, kuna hizi fedha ambazo zitatolewa hivi sasa na tunasubiri wiki kama ngapi hivi kupata zile pesa? Kuna zile pesa kwenye treasury, na kama utaweza baadaye ukishamaliza utatupa na lugha ya nyumbani ndiposa wale.
Yes, indeed. Ni kweli kuna fedha ambazo zimetengwa na serikali kuhudumia sekta ya maziwa na kuhakikisha changamoto zile ziko katika hizo sekta. Hiyo sekta imedhibitiwa, na kwa sasa kwa sababu ya hizo fedha naamuru shirika la New KCC kupandisha bei ya maziwa saa hii, waanze kununulia wakulima kwa shilingi 33. So I'm 33 shillings. I'm asking the MD of New KCC, is he here? He should be here. He's supposed to be here, and we have already agreed. I've already asked him to enhance the prices immediately to that 3 shillings. So farmers now, I want to announce that, following the President's directive and intervention, we are enhancing prices for milk from the current low of 25, 27 to that 3 shillings. And moving forward, as we do the other interventions, the prices will even improve even further. And I think that is going to help farmers, that new pricing. We looked at it because we will be mopping up excess milk and processing to powder milk and putting it into the strategic food reserve. That will help stabilize the prices and improve the earning of farmers. So for now, really, that's the most important information that farmers need to know, that they can go to KCC, new KCC, and depots and sell their milk for that 3 shillings per litre. Yes. Now, for KCC, I wanted you also to know that part of the money was to mop up the excess milk, and also part of the money was to complete some plants that were in different stages of completion, because we were increasing capacity also in Nyahururu. We have directed the new KCC to immediately move to buy the equipment and the refurbishment that is required for Nyahururu so that work can be completed. We were also to complete a facility in Kiganjo. All that is intended to expand the capacity of new KCC to purchase and process milk for farmers.
Why 33 and not 35? What rationale have you applied so that they can increase to 35, to 33, not 35, or even 40?
Yes, 33, we have looked at the resources that have been availed and the quantities that we can process within the current capacity. In another few weeks, again, we could raise it to 35, but we think we can absorb that price increase at this particular point. We have a projection that has been given to me that indicates that, and it here. So it's looking at the processing capacity and the ability to absorb.
It's per litre. It's price per litre.
It's per litre. It's per litre, isn't it? Yeah, it's per litre. That's 3 shillings. That's a great improvement. That's a great improvement.
Just a continuation of this.
Yes.
Yesterday also the president talked about coffee, and he gave a few directives about revamping the industry. One is about the 3 billion shilling fund, revolving fund,
Yes.
and also implementing the finding all other recommendations of the task force. Just share with us, what are your plans? Because already there is a new organization, UKPCU, and there are regulations to administer the same fund, the 3 billion. Have you concluded the public participation? Have you started the public participation? So
Yes.
clarify to us, where are you, and what are you telling?
Yes, indeed, there is that new organization that is called New KPCU, which is a successor to the old KPCU that is under liquidation. We have already put in place a board of directors, so the institution has been operationalized, and the decision was made that this institution will be the one that will be running this Sherry Advance Fund. It will be domiciled in New KPCU. We have already opened accounts. In fact, what we have been waiting for was for a checker to release that money into the accounts of New KPCU. That process has been already done. The department has finished its work. We are just waiting for Treasury to release this money, and I think it could be released any time. Even as we speak, probably, it has already been released. We are also putting in place a payment platform, ICT, in conjunction with New KPCU and the Department of Cooperatives, is working on an ICT solution that is going to pay farmers this money once they have delivered their cherry to the factory. Once we know how much the quantities of coffee you have delivered, then you'll be able to be paid directly. We don't want to use any intermediary in terms of paying the farmer, because that has been the challenge, even with what is called the commodity fund that has been running in this ministry, where you use intermediaries, sometimes the money doesn't reach, and even when it reaches, the repayment back, because it's a revolving fund, the repayment becomes a challenge. So we have the regulations that are going through public participation as we speak, stipulate that the money will be paid directly to the farmer after knowing the quantities of coffee the farmer has delivered. So KPCU will sign contracts, is signing contractual agreements with the millers. KPCU itself is a miller. So we are encouraging farmers, coffee farmers, to deliver their coffee to KPCU mills to make it easier to be paid this money. The KPCU has one of the biggest mills in Dandora, which I went to inspect the other day. It can process all the coffee in the country. It has the capacity to process all the coffee that is grown in the country. So we are asking farmers, deliver your coffee there. Then that coffee will be the collateral against which you are paid this money. However, even if you choose to deliver elsewhere, as long as the miller who takes your coffee signed contract with KPCU, undertaking to deduct that money from your sale, the sale of the coffee, back to KPCU, then we have no problem. We will be able to still pay the farmer directly his coffee. So that data is being gathered, the data of the farmers, because even if before we wait for the coffee that is being delivered, if we can get the previous data, we can estimate quickly how much coffee which farmer delivers. That information is being, remember ICT when it was also doing crop census. Remember, it was being done. Part of the reason was to get this information. So that information is being fed into this new system. It's being gathered to be fed into this new system. Then we are able to pay the farmer. The farmer will be paid 40% of the value of the coffee, assessing the value from the prevailing market prices at the coffee auction, Nairobi coffee auction, or 20 shillings per kilo. That's what you'll be per kilo of cherry, not processed coffee. It's the cherry itself. So per kilo you get 20 shillings. So those are the modalities, and banks will also give an undertaking. Once the coffee is sold, the first charge on the money is repaying that money to KPC, new KPC. So because it's a revolving loan fund that we want to run, and it is only 3% interest. We want to avoid a situation where what is happening with a lot of coffee farmers is that millers enter into agreement with banks. Banks charge up to even 12% interest. Then they delay the repayment so that the period of interest continues. It increases. You know, you sell the coffee, but you don't pay the farmer immediately because you want to make more money from the farmer. That's how farmers are being fleeced in this country, and those are the things we want to control.
So how will the cooperative societies be able to recover the cost of the cost of their operationalization? Or operations, yeah.
What do you mean?
How will they be able to recover the cost? Because you will be paying farmers directly.
We are paying farmers a percentage. That's why we are not paying them everything. What we are paying, that's why we are not paying everything. We don't want to be involved in the recoveries of cooperatives, because part of the problem is also cooperatives take the coffee from the farmer. They don't determine how much they use the farmer's coffee to borrow, and that's why some of them